Welcome back to the evolution of Formula One, the ultimate pit stop for everything Formula One. Today's video is Juan Manuel Fangio's driver profile. Juan Manuel Fangio, better known as El Maestro, won 5 world championships in the 1950s. For some, he is the greatest driver Formula One has ever seen. Today we're diving into the extraordinary life and career of the legendary Juan Manuel Fangio, whose dominance in the early years of F1 cemented his place in the F1 Hall of Fame. Born on June 24, 1911, to Italian parents in the small town of Balcarce, Argentina, Juan Manuel Fangio's path to greatness began on humble ground. His love for cars started at an early age. At the tender age of just 11, Fangio started working as a mechanic. However, Fangio didn't step into the world of motorsport until 1934, at the age of 23, driving a rebuilt 1929 Ford Model A. His journey to Formula One was anything but traditional. He raced in long-distance races across South America in cars he repaired himself. These races were essentially marathons, but for cars. He had thousands and thousands of racing miles completed before he ever began racing in Europe. By 1948, Fangio was ready to take on the world. With funding from the Argentine Automobile Club, he made his debut in the French Grand Prix at Reims. But it wasn't until a year later, driving for Maserati, that he showed his true potential. Winning at San Remo in 1949, he set the stage for an illustrious career. In 1950, Fangio entered the first full season in the Formula One World Championship. Driving for Alfa Romeo, Fangio battled his rivals and teammates, Nino Farina and Luigi Fagioli. He clinched his first F1 victory in Monaco, making the most of a wet track and a dramatic pile-up. The title, however, eluded him that season, as Farina edged out Fangio in the final round. Fangio was 4 points ahead of Farina going into the last race in Monza, but Lady Luck was against him as he had to retire his car and Farina took the title. Undeterred, Fangio returned with a vengeance in 1951, capturing his first world championship in Spain. He was 40 years old when securing his first title. It wasn't just about speed. It was about strategy, and Fangio's calmness under pressure shone through. He won the title by a mere 2 points, proving that, in the world of racing, every second counts. He won 3 of the 8 races across Europe that year. Then came 1952. With Alfa Romeo pulling out of the championship, Fangio was left without a car or team. Maserati welcomed him back, though the year would take a dark turn. Fangio missed a connecting flight before the Monza Grand Prix and so decided to drive through the night from Paris. He only arrived at the race half an hour before the start. He had a severe crash on the second lap that left him hospitalized with multiple injuries, including a broken neck. He spent the remainder of 1952 recovering in his native Argentina. Fangio made his comeback from that horrific injury in 1953 with Maserati. His first 3 starts resulted in 3 retirements. This left him too far behind the leaders to compete for the championship. He did claim victory in the final race of the season at Monza to put some gloss on a poor season. At the end of 1953, Fangio signed for Mercedes-Benz. In 1954, Mercedes-Benz cars were not ready until the 4th race in France, so Fangio drove with his old team Maserati in the first races. He won his home race in Argentina in the first race, and then the second race in Belgium. He also won his first race with his new team Mercedes-Benz in France, and his partnership with the German giant became unstoppable. In a season of dominance, he won 6 of the 8 races, including his home Grand Prix in Argentina. By the end of the year, he'd secured his second world championship. 1955 was another year of success for Fangio. He won 4 out of the 6 races on his way to claiming his 3rd world championship. But 1955 also marked the end of Mercedes' involvement in motorsport after the tragic Le Mans disaster. Fangio, however, wasn't finished. Hungry for a 4th title, he moved to Ferrari for the 1956 season. Fangio started the 1956 season in similar fashion as the previous 2 years, claiming victory in his home race in Argentina, albeit it was a shared drive with Italian Luigi Musso. He then went 3 races without victory, and so title number 4 was not looking too secure. But 1956 was a season full of drama. Fangio bounced back from his poor run of form to win the British and German Grand Prix. Then, in a rare display of sportsmanship, Fangio's title charge was nearly halted by car troubles at Monza. But in a moment that would define his legacy, teammate Peter Collins handed over his car to Fangio, allowing him to finish second and claim his fourth world championship. Not for the first time, Fangio was starting a new season with a new team. He rejoined Maserati in 1957. The 1957 season is up there as one of the greatest in Formula One history. Fangio made a great start to the season, winning the first 3 races. Again, he won his home race in Argentina. Stirling Moss, driving for Van Wald, took control of the second half of the season, winning 3 races. But in a performance that would be talked about for decades, Fangio executed an incredible comeback at the German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. Fangio started on pole position. He had an early battle with the 2 Ferrari drivers in the first few laps before regaining the lead again. He then pitted on lap 13 with a 30-second lead. A completely disastrous pit stop left him 50 seconds behind both Collins and Hawthorne in the Ferraris when he re-entered the race. He was still in third place, believe it or not. From third place, he worked his way to the front, overtaking both Ferrari drivers on the last lap and winning the race by a mere 3 seconds, securing his 5th and final world championship. Fangio set numerous fastest laps as he chased the lead. His best lap was on lap 20, when he was a full 11 seconds faster than the 2 Ferraris. That was to be his last ever F1 victory. In 1958, Fangio continued with Maserati, but he was nearing the end of his career. He did not finish the season. In fact, he retired after the French Grand Prix. His decision to step back was met with a great deal of respect. In his final race, Mike Hawthorne, leading the race, slowed down to let Fangio finish his final laps in true respect. Fangio finished over 2 minutes behind, but the gesture was the ultimate tribute to the legend. Fangio is the only Argentine driver to have won the Argentine Grand Prix, having won it 4 times in his career. Fangio won 24 World Championship Grand Prix from 51 starts, a winning percentage of 47%. Bear in mind, that's a higher percentage than modern drivers like Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton. In fact, Fangio became so famous, he was kidnapped by Cuban rebels in February 1958. He was later released unharmed and remained a good friend of his captors afterwards. The incident was made into a film in 1999. Even after retirement, Fangio remained a force in motorsport. He became the president of Mercedes-Benz Argentina in 1974 and its honorary president for life in 1987. He also continued to sell and showcase cars, all while running the Museo Juan Manuel Fangio, preserving the legacy of his legendary career. Fangio was inducted into the International Motorsports Hall of Fame in 1990. A Mercedes F1 car driven by Fangio and Moss in 1954 was recently put up for auction with the price set to $50 million. I do love Fangio's history, but I won't be bidding for that. Fangio's story isn't just about victories. It's about an era when Formula One was born. His legacy lives on, not only in his 5 world championships, but in the respect he commanded from all who raced with and against him. His 5 world championships were not matched until Michael Schumacher achieved this in 2002. Juan Manuel Fangio passed away on July 17, 1995, in Buenos Aires at the age of 84. But his influence on the sport is timeless. His name remains synonymous with excellence, precision, and mastery of the sport. Fangio was El Maestro, the master of his craft, and the father of Formula One, as we know it today. Take a look at Fangio's legendary racing career. Fangio's legendary race statistics. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the incredible legacy of Juan Manuel Fangio, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more stories from the history of Formula One. Until next time, keep your engines roaring.